dreaming. I can hear them say, carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Hello, Supernatural family. We are here to talk about the amazing Annie Wersching. She was in one episode of Supernatural in season 2, episode 11, called Playthings. Um, Now her character in the episode, her name was Susan, and um, she had a daughter who actually had an imaginary friend. But as it turns out, her imaginary friend happens to be that little girl's grandmother's daughter, and um, she actually didn't know that, but you know that that ghost wanted to be um, Annie's character's daughter's friend. You know what? Her character's name is Susan. Okay, so I'll also say Susan's daughter's friend. Just so there's no confusion. All right, so yeah, that goes. She was her daughter's imaginary friend, or so-called imaginary friend, even though she was a ghost. But most ghosts are called imaginary friends to kids that do have imaginary friends. So, um, yeah, I really forgot the little girl's name though, but she she did a good job in her role too. And as for Annie, she did a good job playing as Susan in Supernatural. And so I'm gonna be talking a little bit about what the episode is about, and what her life was like. Now I am on Wikipedia. There is not much information, but we'll we'll read more about Annie and Nikki, from IMDb another time. But as of right now, we are here just to dedicate this video to Annie, and then we'll do more dedications like this for the other actors and actresses that passed away from Supernatural that we were not aware of. Um, I think I did hear how some of them did pass away, but I'm not entirely sure. So, anyways, um, so what this episode was about was that, um, like I said, Susan, that's Andy's character. Susan, her daughter had this imaginary friend, but her imaginary friend was a ghost, and she was killing people that would check into the hotel and everything. So sorry, but that was my oil diffuser in case you heard some beeping. And anyways, yeah, you know, she she killed some people that were in the hotel, and it was very brutal. But um, you know, I think she did that just to scare the people away or something. But what she really wanted was that she wanted to let it be just Susan's daughter and her to be in the hotel without Susan and without Susan's mom. So it was you know it was like one of those episodes where you're on the edge of your seat and like, okay, what's gonna happen next? I know I was like that when I watched it the first time, and I, I love this show, but I also like this episode. It's a really good episode, and Annie's character Susan, she was the owner of the hotel, and when Sam and Dean went over there to investigate what was going on at the hotel, um, they noticed some symbols up like in certain areas. Like there was one in the face. There was one. Oh man, what was it? I think there was another one. I think on another face. I'm not entirely sure. I probably would have to watch that episode again. But you know, um, Dean was a big tease towards Sam in front of Annie because he was telling Annie's character that Sam has a big dog collection at home, and he really loves it, and you know Sam kept looking at him like Dean, shut up, but then he had to do a cover up, and he was all like, yeah, big time, and it was just funny, but they did get further into digging on the dollhouse and everything, and as it turns out, um, when it came to um, Susan's daughter's friend, imaginary friend, what she was doing was that I think there were like these certain dolls that were made as these people from the hotel, and she would kill one of them, and it'll look like they committed suicide or if it was an accident. And um, yeah, I think I forgot if they ever actually covered whether that ghost was Susan's mom's sister, because um yeah, I probably would have to watch that episode again to find out. I wouldn't mind anyways. I'm coming very close to watching Supernatural for the seventh time, thanks to me and my friend Benji talking about it last night. So I blame our conversation for that, but in a good way, in a good way. um, but um, yeah, um, what the ghost wanted Susan's daughter to do um was to die, so that way she can join her and she'll never leave her side even at the hotel. But then Sam saved her before anything, like she was drowning, but she was kind of not really lifeless, but she wasn't conscious, so she wasn't aware of what was going on. So Sam saved her before, she could pass over. And um, as it turns out, that little girl's um, friend ghost was actually meeting face to face with her sister, saying like, really, you'll never leave me here? And as it turns out, sometime a little later, we find out that um, susan's mom's uh, Susan's mom died, and I think it was by natural causes or something, but she did pass away. And then we find out later at the end that she actually joined her sister, and she never left her side at the hotel. So um that's the whole episode of Supernatural right there on Playthings. But I'm not saying the whole thing, because if I did, it would be word for word, script by script, and I'm not gonna do that. So, um, I'm not gonna do that. So, in just a sec, um, I am going to dig deep into, um, you know, Annie's life. Just give me a sec here. I'm just doing something real quick. Plus, my voice is raspy, so I need a drink. All right, there we go. All right. Yeah, that's better. My voice is less raspy now. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right. So, about Annie Wersching. Uh, she was born in St. Louis, Missouri on March 28th, 1977. She attended Crossroads College Preparatory School in St. Louis, graduating in 1995. During her youth, she competed in Irish dance and belonged to the St. Louis Celtic Step Dancers group. She received a BFA in musical theater from Millikan University, from which she graduated in 1999. So, um, in her early life, though, it still sounds good no matter what. So, I like that. Now, I'm not really going to read about her career because, it is a very long list, but I'll just try to cut it short. So, she did make her appearance in some other shows, but I think I'll get to that when I get to the filmography part. So, I'm going to jump to her personal life. Um, where she married actor and comedian Stephen Full at their Los Angeles home in September 2009. They had three sons together. Honestly, even that right there, it still sounds like a really good life she had. You know, um, I know that wasn't a whole lot of information there, but you know, when you start reading like a couple or a few sentences about someone's life, you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. I want to read more about this person because it just sounds amazing, to hear about their life. So, even just those few sentences right there, it actually sounds like she had a good life. All right, so here comes the sad part. We're going to be talking about her death. Wersching was diagnosed with cancer in mid 2020, though she kept her diagnosis private and continued to act afterward. She died in Los Angeles, California on January 29th, 2023, at the age of 45. So, yeah, cancer is a very scary thing. Um, I knew someone who had cancer, and um, she was telling me about what she would do in order to take care of her mom and everything. It wasn't just any cancer, it was breast cancer. And you know she was still scared for her mom, and you know but it didn't stop her from doing the things that she needed to do in order to take care of her. And I applaud her for that. But when it comes to Annie, I think I can understand why she kept her diagnosis of cancer private, because a lot of people might be like, oh my gosh, she has cancer. And it's like they'll start realizing like maybe some loss of hair, or like they'll notice like some other things too, like um oh man, I forgot what else there was. Oh yeah, like her getting sick a lot. So, you know, um, that's what my friend's mom had during her breast cancer diagnosis. She was getting sick, and she did lose her hair, but years later, eventually, she grew it back. And then and everything to her was either too salty or too sweet. So the food had to be, um, how do you put it? it had to be added with water or something that didn't contain any salt or sugar. So um, yeah, that's what had to happen. But of course, my friend's mom is still alive. She's a big fighter, so you know, applause for that. But I feel so bad for Annie that she was still going through breast cancer. Well, not breast cancer, but she was still going through cancer. It didn't say what kind of cancer she was going through though, so I'm not sure if it was like liver cancer, colon cancer, or anything like that. But it it was a certain type of cancer, and you know cancer is never a fun thing. Whenever you hear someone saying that announcing someone has cancer, you start thinking of a lot of things that you don't want to think about, but you know it's still right there at the back of your mind. And it's a scary thing. It's also very sad, but the best thing you can do is just to you know always keep fighting. So let's dig into Annie's filmography. She um she was in one series of Star Trek called Enterprise. Her role in there was Lyanna in the episode Oasis. In case any of you are familiar with Star Trek, she was in there. And she was in the Frasier series as well in one episode. And I think her role, I'm gonna try to say it as best way as I can, but I think is esthetician. I probably said that right. I probably said that wrong. I'm not sure. um. Anyways, she was also in a series called Angel. Some people are aware of that show because of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, but she was in the series Angel. She played the role as Margaret in the episode called Shiny Happy People. She was also in the series called Charmed, and her character was Demonatrix 2. Okay, so what? So like theme 1 and theme 2? That shouldn't be hard to remember. At least I don't think so. Okay. Um, and like we mentioned earlier, she was in Supernatural. She played as Susan Thomas. I mean Susan Thompson. I'm sorry. Um, she was also in General Hospital. I know some people watch hospital shows along with crime shows and everything. So I'll get to those. In General Hospital, she was the recurring cast, but played as Amelia Hoff. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, but I'm not sure at the same time. She was in another series um, called 24. Now, Kiefer Sutherland, he was the main character in that show, and that's where she was in. And she played as Renee Walker, and she was in there for quite a while from season 7 through 8. So yeah, that's amazing how she was just in there for so long. Um, she was in a CSI series called Crime. Well, it is CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. She played as Priscilla Prescott in only one episode, and then there's another one, NCIS, played as Gail Walsh in one episode as well. Um, Let me see here. This one's one of my favorite parts. She played as um she was in the Vampire Diaries and played as Lily Salvatore. which is Stefan's and Damon's mom in the show. But she showed up there from season 6 through 7, and let's see here, she was in the Runaways. Huh. She played as Leslie Dean. She was part of the main cast. Cool. I gotta pay attention to that. I did watch, I think, only one season of The Runaways, but didn't really pay that much attention to it because there was a lot going on back then. So, yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention to it. She was also in Star Trek Picard. Her character was um, Borg Queen. She was part as the recurring cast of season 2. So that's pretty much it about Annie. But um, it's still very sad how she passed away and how she was diagnosed with cancer. Now, when I do make another dedication video to her, I will I will be trying to look further into, you know, what kind of cancer she had and everything, because I'm pretty sure as us supernatural fans, we want to know every single detail about those that have passed away and see, like, you know, what their cause of death was, what kind of life they had, and everything. So, I will try to dig deeper into that. That will be for another time, though. So I don't know, maybe sometime next week or so. I'm not entirely sure, but I wanted to make another video about Nikki Acox. Just look her up on IMDb and just talk about her life and just to see like what her life was like even more, because she really does look like a nice person, and so does Annie Wersching. And I would like to read more about them. I mean, I was reading their information only from Wikipedia, which doesn't require a whole lot of information, but IMDb does. So when I make those other two videos for them separately, um, I will be looking through IMDb instead of Wikipedia this time because, yeah, Wikipedia doesn't always have a lot of information about certain celebrities. They only have a few, but not a whole lot. So I will be looking into that. And I think this video has come to an end. And just give me a sec here while I do something. All right, so may we say rest in peace to Annie Wershing. May she rest in peace, and she had a good life. I know there wasn't a whole lot of information that I read today about her, but you know, like I said, Wikipedia doesn't, have a lot of information about certain celebrities, so this was the best I could do. I do apologize in advance for that, but just remember that there will be more videos coming along about, more about Annie, more about Nikki A. Cox, because I feel like everyone should know every single detail about them. So, there'll be more videos about them, but just one more. It's not going to be like a part two, part three kind of thing. You know, um, well, maybe a part two, but not part three, part four. Nothing like that, but, um, excuse me. Yeah, nothing like that, but, just like a second one, but that requires more information about them. So, as I end this video, I just want to say, um, remember to always keep fighting, and always love yourself first, and that you matter. Everyone in their life always matters. So just remember, when you feel like you're down and life is beating you up, just keep in mind that you matter. And even though you may not know how to forgive yourself for certain things in life right now at the moment, just remember it's going to take time. And the best thing you can do is just hang in there. And, just keep in mind that your friends and family are always there for you. And you may not forgive yourself now for the things that happen in your life, but one day you'll forgive yourself. And once you do, you're going to feel a whole a whole lot better, to where you feel less pressure right on you. And believe me, I know what that's like. You know, um, with the many things I went through in my life, I always felt like I didn't love myself, and I didn't, see anything good in myself. I just saw everything bad in myself. And even though I know today what kind of person I am, sometimes I still think things like that. So even with me, I gotta learn how to love myself first, you know, because if I don't, how would I be able to move on with my life? So, um, I'll have to say, same goes for all of you. Just forgive yourself for everything you've done, or forgive those who did the wrong, no matter which way it went. Just forgive and move on. Now, I left out forget because, um, you can forgive, but you can't forget. There's no such thing as forgetting something that has happened in your life. There's such thing as remembering it, but you're like, well, even though it still hurts me, it doesn't hurt me as much like it did before, but it does um it does make make me realize that I have forgiven myself, to where I can finally breathe and move on from my life, and you know, just really be happy. Be happy with the person that you are. Be happy with the person you've become, because you deserve that. You need that in your life. And I mean that. Um, so I just want all of you to remember that. I still have a lot to do with that as well, but you know, let's just live by Sam and Dean's lessons throughout the whole Supernatural series. I was watching one video on YouTube where um, they were mentioning life lessons in Supernatural, and um, maybe soon I do want to get into that and maybe vent just a little bit. I'm not gonna dig too deep about my personal life as much, but I will kind of leave out details, but still give details. but not too much details, if that makes sense. So, anyways, um, just remember whenever you're struggling, if you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, but you feel like you don't want to bother them, just remember that you might never know if they could actually help you in your life, and just open up to them, being like, hey, can I vent here? Can I talk? And if they say yes, then go for it. No one deserves to suffer through, holding in their emotions. It's not healthy for your body. So just keep in mind that, you know, venting to someone, a close friend, family member, whoever it is, just know that there's always someone there to listen. Always. All right. Anyways, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just felt like that was a whole lot to say. Um, but like I said earlier, remember to always keep fighting, love yourself first, and yeah, rest in peace to Annie Wersching. She was awesome in Supernatural. Also in the Vampire Diaries, I do remember seeing her in the Vampire Diaries, and she was just amazing in both. And for those of you that have seen her in a whole lot more shows than I've mentioned earlier, then I applaud you for that. I really do. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. And the rest of this song goes out to Annie. May she rest in peace. Carry on, Supernatural family.
Now your life's no longer empty.